talk don't bother me.
And welcome to Let Them Talk. I'm Paul DiRienzo. We got another great show in store for you, and it's a bittersweet type of show because we're celebrating the third birthday of a child, but at the same time, we have to take notice of how that child came to be without a father. And it's a sad story, and one that we've told before and needs to retell. And so to help me do that, I have two wonderful guests returning to the show. Thank you very much. Ty Black, Queen Blizzy, Jewel Miller. Jewel Miller, the mother of Legacy, and Legacy, who's turning 3, is the daughter of Eric Garner, who was famously choked to death by police officer Daniel Pantaleo in Staten Island in 2014. So here we are 3 years later, and a child who was born about the same time her father was killed is now 3 years old. And you know, the community is going to step forward and do what they can, from what I understand. So tell us, you know, Ty, Queen Blizzy,
well, just to you know, correct
set
the
me straight.
information.
Yeah, please do.
Legacy is 3.
But
her birthday is in April.
Oh, your birthday's in April.
So what just passed was the 3rd year anniversary on July 17th.
Right.
For Eric's murder.
Oh, it was July 17th.
Yeah.
All right, thanks for setting me straight on the dates. It is July 17th.
Yeah, because we
so
always
it's
come
2
up
weeks
around
ago.
her birthday time, so that's why
Yes,
I
right.
got confused.
I was thinking of the birthday. Very good. So it marks the fact 3 years since the horrible crime occurred. In my opinion, a horrible crime that goes unpunished and truly uninvestigated, which is a sad story. You know, to put this whole thing in context, I think I have to almost thank the President of the United States, if that's what we want to call him, Donald Trump, for coming forward with the following statement a few days ago, his opinion on how police should do their job. So I'm going to flip to that. It's about 40 seconds long. Let's listen to this clip, and then we'll come back and discuss it.
You see these towns, and when you see these thugs being thrown into the back of a paddy wagon, you just see them thrown in, rough. I said, please don't be too nice. Like when you guys put somebody in the car and you're protecting their head, you know, the way you put their hand over. Like, don't hit their head, and they've just killed somebody, don't hit their head. I said, you can take the hand away, okay? It's essential.
Well, I don't know what's more disturbing, the words, which I've come to expect from Donald Trump, you know, for many years. We know him, we're New Yorkers, or the reaction of the Brentwood police.
Disgusting.
Well,
what's your opinion?
Well, pretty much what he's saying is, you know, if you're arresting somebody, they already convicted you before you went to court, because you're just getting put in the car. So like, you can rough them up, they just killed somebody, but how do you actually know that this person killed somebody? And that obviously refers to who, black people, or with Dylan Roof, you know, how they put him in the car. You know, would they want to do the same thing?
The person who killed those 9 people.
Would you want to do the same thing?
Carolina.
And then for the cops to be so happy like that, it's like, wow, this is what I really want to do. Like, they was excited behind it.
Jewel, what do you think? Yeah, I can see you fuming here, because you've been personally affected by this kind of thing. I mean, we saw the video. I don't have it to show this time, but the terrible video of Eric being manhandled and choked to death right there, while Ramsey Orta, who was on the show, was filming and being told to stop filming. And Ramsey is one of the courageous young men I have ever really known in New York, because he is spending 4 years in prison for no other reason than he had the guts to stand up there and to film that, and to not stop filming it no matter what happened and no matter what they were saying to him, to stand his ground, was a tremendously courageous action for somebody he might have known, but I don't know if he was real. They were friends, right? Was Ramsey friends with Eric? They knew each other, and from the neighborhood, and he lived right there in that community for allegedly, and being accused of selling loose cigarettes. And from what I understand, they didn't even find any cigarettes.
Not one, nothing.
Right, and.
Which goes to what Donald Trump just said. Oh,
it doesn't matter.
And even as small as he just sold a cigarette, then he didn't even have cigarettes. So go, you know, you can treat him however you want, because you said that he was selling a cigarette, and then even if he was, which he didn't have anything on him, that wouldn't be the fitting penalty for it.
Right, that makes the police and the sort of judge, jury, and executioner all in one.
Exactly.
And I think that Trump has made several statements to the effect that we should get rid of judges or give police judicial powers. Which, of course, the reason we don't do that in the United States is because of a long history of police corruption, where next thing you know, people will be collecting fines for things that they do and not knowing where the money goes. So that's why we have judges, obviously, to protect people's rights in a situation like this. So let's look at it's so depressing in a way to talk about this and to see the situation we're in. Let's talk about something uplifting and hopeful right now, which is this event that's being planned in part to commemorate for the child who's 3 and to commemorate the death of her father in such a horrendous way. What's happening?
Well, what we're doing is a back to school fundraiser event on August 19th, and pretty much the funds are to go to the back to school give back. This would be the 2nd year that we've done the give back. Last year was on September 15th, which is Eric Garner's birthday, and we did the give back at the memorial site. So this year we're going to do it again at the memorial site on his birthday, but if the fundraiser allows the budget, we're going to expand as well and bring the give back over to what Nicholas Haywood is doing in Brooklyn.
Who's been on the show a few times.
Yeah.
Nicholas has been,
Exactly.
whose son, at the age of 12 years old, be 30-something years old right now, was shot down playing in the hallway of this
Indeed.
building in the Pink Houses. Or,
Now, Gowanus
Gowanus
Projects,
house, but there was another case similar,
Kai Gurley,
right? Kai Gurley in the Pink
2014.
Houses, right?
Yeah,
Where you need a scorecard to keep track of these incidents.
yeah.
What does it say? I mean, how did you feel? I always, this is the TV question they always ask. How do you feel about this tragic thing that happened to you? But because we really want to know how you felt to describe it for people. How has this whole incident, what taste has it left in your mouth, Jewel, that having to live through this nightmare?
Oh, this is just, it's constant frustration, it's constant anger all the time. This video with Trump just fuels me even more. It just lets me know that we're pretty much like walking targets for them. At any moment they could kill our loved ones and get away with it. With him being president, it's really bad for us.
It's almost like the public's response to the outcry was to double down and say to do it even worse.
What do you mean by electing Trump?
Yes.
Well, I feel like either way it wasn't, in our favor, neither candidate. They just go about it from 2 different styles and 2 different approaches. Hillary is all for mass incarceration, which is a direct attack on the black community, and is really not, nothing that they put into the system is designed to actually help our communities, is actually more so to agitate it. With mass incarceration, instead of trying to prevent people going to prison, they actually don't do anything. They defund the communities where these people come from and, just look the other way. They want them to come into the prison, which is, they're making $1 billion a year. Right. That's a form of slavery now. So that's pretty much what Hillary and her campaign is about. So either way, it wasn't anything positive for us, which is why we do things like the give back, because we understand that our spending power in the black community is actually $1.5 trillion a year at least, and we can actually, if we just all donated a pitch, then we can actually do things to enhance our own communities.
Basically self-help, because you can't depend on society. Obviously they're hostile to people who don't, I'm not sure exactly what it is that rules America. I was going to say the white power structure. Is that,
white supremacy.
Yeah, white supremacy, and a certain sort of smug superiority among people who might themselves never think of themselves as racist, but this sort of feeling of smug superiority among some white people. I have to say that this isn't their problem, or is below them, or not important, and not understanding that lives are being destroyed. But that being said, is there a hopeful way out of this? What will it take? Do you think there's anything that can be done to wake up, this settler colonial state in which the Indians were killed to take their land, and people of color were brought from other countries to work for nothing for 100, and then treated like crap 100 years after they were freed finally after a bloody civil war. I mean, what does it take for these people to wake up?
Which ones? For the people that's actually committing these
Yeah,
heinous crimes?
and the people, the society behind it, who doesn't do anything, who doesn't rise up, who doesn't say, you know, put an end. This is being done in my name.
Well, I think that they are woke, and it's a conscious decision. These are intelligent people who can manipulate and put anything together, so it's not that they don't know or they're not woke. They structure it that way so that it's more beneficial to themselves, and keeping the structure that way, they keep their place in society. So I'm not really optimistic that they will do anything any different. If anything, it will have to come from the people itself, which I'm not saying I have the exact answer, but I do know that numerous times it's been tried a positive way, and with hard work and dedication, at each time that we reached that peak of where we can gain some comfortability for ourselves, we were attacked as if we were like a terrorist nation instead of, you know, people that are citizens here, which, you know, is all questionable then. And so the answer to that probably will be something that a lot of people don't want to,
Well, maybe they do.
Yeah,
Maybe
it's
people
painful. It may
on
be
both
real
sides are
painful
waking
too.
up, maybe. On both sides of this divide in America.
It's been a
has and have
concept
not.
since like so long, Martin Luther King, of wanting to like, let's say, oh, let's try to awaken the slave master and his descendants, you know, like at this point it's kind of like if you naturally know this is wrong, and you've been you know, helping as your ancestors may have been the Underground Railroad people, they may not have been slave masters, you know. So we've always had that population of you know, white people that did help in the movement, but I'm not solely focusing on just trying to, you know, get them to change their mind. We don't really have time for that. You know, we already have to get our own people to change their mind that have been changed constantly. It's like the war on our community is coming from so many different angles. The television, the music, the advertising, just walking down the street, the food, you know, what they're putting in the food, and in particular communities, what's not available in particular communities. It's like, it goes really deep. So with all of that work, you know, we won't have time for that. So that's why we're doing things like the Give Back, which we actually called it Black Minds Matter this year.
Right. And where is it going to be held? Let's give us a time and place and everything.
Well, it's in the Bronx this year, and the fundraiser's in the Bronx, and it's on 928 Intervale Avenue.
Intervale, right?
Yeah,
928 Intervale Avenue. That's in the southeastern Bronx. Right, by basically Home Avenue and Kelly Street and that area, right?
Yeah, I'm not really familiar with the area, but we're putting the event together. We have like different comrades on board. So Lisi, she's a photographer in the movement. She comes out to like all the actions and events, and she takes photos. And this is one of this is her area where, you know, she.
And where can people find more? Is there a website where there's more information? We send people to the website.
Yeah, well. Just go to the page, The Legacy Eric Garner Left Behind, on Facebook. The
Legacy Eric Garner Left Behind on Facebook.
Yeah, and there's an event page in there. We have a couple of flyers, and all the details are listed there. We have a donational link, and we keep you updated on, you know, what's the status. You know, we got the first shipment of book bags in, you know, each step. And
so tell us the first shipment of book bags. What are you going to do actually? What's the plan?
We're giving out book bags that has school supplies in it, but what's different from our give back is designed particularly for Black youth. So we're giving them things in the book bags that they will not get when they go to school. We're giving them material of positive images of people who look like themselves, our heritage, maybe like a cultural scarf, or you know, then we're going to go to like Black bookstores and give them books inside of the book bags that will include something other than just slavery being Black history.
I see. So other things besides the negatives, just there was positive aspects of
prior
this.
to slavery,
Right.
and even some things during slavery or after that are not as publicized as the images of slavery. Although it is important to know, what was
done. But there's a positive side too to life, and it's right, and we know that. Great. Again, this is Let 'Em Talk, and joining me, we've been talking to Ty Black, Queen Blizzy, and I want to talk for a minute or two about what work you've been doing, your performance work. And we also have Jewel Miller, who was the mother of Legacy, who is a daughter of Eric Garner, who was 3 years ago, July 2014, was murdered. It was a homicide, straight and true, choked to death by Officer Daniel Pantaleo in Pantaleo. I'm sorry, Pantaleo. I got it wrong. Pantaleo, David Pantaleo. So, tell us a little bit. I hate to revisit those terrible times, but people should remember it. How did you find out that this tragedy had occurred?
I received a phone call. A friend of mine called me and said that the cops choked out Big E, and I was like, what? Like, the cops? I couldn't believe it. It was unbelievable just seeing him hours prior to on Victory and Bay breaking up a fight. It kind of was like, Eric he's been arrested before with the cops, and all the cops harassed Eric, so they knew him. And he was never aggressive. So I couldn't understand what
was it that the police, why do they focus on something? I always wondered why. Like, why do they focus on me? Why do they focus on a person?
Well, I don't.
He was big.
He was a big guy, but he was like minding his business.
Sometimes you never can tell. It's just something happens. A bully focuses on a victim, and it seems that in a way he was being bullied by bullies. By
the whole system, the whole 120.
You could see that rage in his.
He couldn't take it no more. He really was like, "Get the fuck out of here! Like, this really ends today. Like, you're not gonna keep doing this every day, Whether I'm at Western Beef, whether I'm sending my children money, whether I'm just chilling. Like, this has to stop. And seeing all his frustration, because I seen him early that morning breaking up a fight. Eric is a heavy guy. It was hot for him to be,
July.
And I can only imagine the people he was arguing with on Ray Street. He was very aggravated. And for these officers to come back and harass him again, after they harassed him the day before in front of the check cashing and went in his pockets, they came back the next day and murdered him. And
you see on the video where he's passively, he's not really even resisting, he's passively just standing there saying, no, I'm not going to do it, no, and asserting his dignity, basically. And you could see clearly he's just asserting dignity, and the police were standing away from him, and there was no physical anything that anybody could ever even assume was a threatening action or movement. And then boom, out of nowhere, this officer takes him down in a chokehold. I mean, like, there's a lot of ways to take somebody down. You don't have to choke them to death.
Right. They took him down in a chokehold.
And they tried to change it and say it was something else.
Held his arm.
Yeah.
It just was. And if Eric wanted to, he really could have maneuvered, Pantaleo. He could have fell back on him. He could have pushed him through through that glass window there. He wasn't, going to be vile or resistant to them. He just was like, I see you guys all the time. Why are y'all bothering me? Like, I just got here, like.
And then, of course, it was the tragic and famous "I Can't Breathe," which became, iconic throughout America, around the world. I mean, to this day, it still is. Where they were sitting on top of him, and he's claiming, and you could hear him gasping, "I can't breathe, I can't breathe," and they continued to pressure him and to sit on him and to hold him down like that.
Yeah, I respect when somebody's saying that. I just seen there was some surveillance from a prison that we shared on a page, and there was a cellmate. They said he didn't want to go to his cell, but he was trying to tell him he was having some type of complications or whatever. They didn't take him to the medical, And he was saying the same thing when they took him to the cell. He can't breathe. And then he died. You know, they left him in the cell anyway, and he died. Like, they don't respect anybody's human rights.
Yeah, and dignity and rights, right? It's obviously, they come at it, they seem to come at it, and they did come at it from the point of view that the person's dignity is of no, and, you know, other police departments, I've heard, you know, I heard an interview with Italian police officers, you know, in Rome, and they're saying, you know, they don't do that. They don't have the same kind of problem. They say, you know, we treat people we arrest with dignity. You know, no matter what they do, no matter what crime they're committed, it's not our position to punish them or to decide their guilt. We treat every human being with dignity, and you know what? We don't have as many problems because people don't expect to be treated in an indignant way, which, you know, we all, you know, dealing with authority in the United States, it's like the dignity of the person is just not ever taken into account. It's like you know, we want you, and that's the end of it. You know, you come along, you know, and this is, you know, we are adults here, you know, we're all adults, we're not children. This isn't grade school. We're not telling people, you know, you have to go do this and you have to do that. We're men and women, you know. Why would we submit to having our dignity stepped on?
Yeah.
And that's what I feel anyway. But that said, what's it been like for 3 years to raise your daughter without her father?
It's been trying. You know, she's a baby. She has no idea really she's being raised without a father. She knows a father exists, but she doesn't quite understand what it's all about. She knows that Eric is at peace somewhere. She doesn't quite get it though. Yeah. It's been difficult, you know, being the mother of Eric Garner's youngest child has come with it's come with a lot of pressures raising her, but she triumphs through it all. She has no idea, and because of that, it's really been great. She's awesome. I've been working with Ty Black, known as Queen Blizzy, for the last 2.5 years now, and she's been awesome. You know, helping with the foundation, keeping his name alive, helping me with legacy, giving her the understanding. You know, and I mean, it's 3 years, so it's you know, it's been difficult.
I can imagine. And do you still get, you know, calls from? How's your phone? How's your mailbox? Do you get anything unpleasant?
I'm good. We you know what? We just don't entertain any negativity. But it's quiet. You know, all the noise we making is for positivity. So anything, you know, coming has been drowned out. So
great, good to hear that.
Yeah.
And so, Queen Blizzy, tell us about. Let's step out on a positive note, because I know you're performing. You're doing a lot of great work. Tell us a little bit of what you've been up to.
Well, you know, constantly putting out, sporadically putting out music and videos online, and pretty much I've, you know, as I told you the last time, combined the activism with the music. So I perform at pretty much the fundraisers out here. I am, at the end of this summer, should have a project together, if not halfway done. So it's been a while since I actually put out just a whole musical project. I've been just releasing singles, which my latest single, Styling on Them, is like in all the online stores. Tidal,
what
iTunes,
is it again? Say it again.
Styling on Them.
Styling
it's actually the remix with Mr. Cheek. So you can look it up on Tidal, Spotify, iHeartRadio.
Sure.
You know, you can support it that
Queen
way.
Blizzy, that's your
Queen
artistic,
Blizzy, yeah. And I also, for apparel, we have the Queen Blizzy patches now.
They're
so
beautiful. I was noticing them. They look great. Good. I see you both have them on.
Yeah,
Queen
so
Blizzy patches.
It's just like the artistry is also, well, hip hop culture is music, what you wear. So we, you know, definitely taking the Queen Blizzy brand into, you know, apparel. Had the Styling on Them shades last summer. So now we had the Queen Blizzy patches, and follow my Facebook page, Queen Blizzy, to stay updated on when the project will be available.
And I do. That's why you're here, because I get all your. I follow you. That's great. All right, great. So that's one thing good. Some positive things.
I definitely for the fundraiser event, I wanted to let everyone know who's actually included. So we have a powerful panel. We have Joshua Lopez. His uncle was murdered by the police about 6 years ago, and the police has actually been harassing Joshua. So we want him on the panel. He agreed to share his experience. He's kind of like the same experience of Ramsey Orders, and he's actually playing him in our web series.
Who was on the show and played the video, who actually had the courage to take that video. And so this is it. This seems to be a pattern where folks who take the videos, who stand up, who are witnesses and are willing to come forward as witnesses to what happened in whatever way, are later on, and even their family members are pressured any way to try and put them under pressure. And
we also have on the panel Anthony Befford, who's running for Brooklyn City Council this year.
Oh, really?
So we have him up there. We just
What's his name again?
Anthony Befford, and we also have Hawk Newsom from the Black Lives Matter. On the show lineup, besides myself performing, we actually have DMX son. His name is Xavier Simmons. He actually, his style is not like his dad's. He's like more acoustic. He, sings with the guitar. So we're glad to have him out. And we have two sisters, Sister Shay and Moses Harper. They're like great underground artists too.
So when is this going to be again? Let's tell everybody.
August 19th from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. and the address is 928 Intervale Avenue in the Bronx.
928 Intervale Avenue.
Yeah, Intervale. Follow the page, The Legacy Eric Garner Left Behind, on Facebook, and on Twitter is @LegacyGarner, and you'll find all of the event information and how, if you want to sponsor or donate, you have the option to do it online, or you can hit us up and we'll give you a drop-off location where you want to drop off supplies.
And the foundation, you were mentioning there's a foundation. Is that the same site?
Yeah, pretty much. It's a grassroots foundation, and it started from just Legacy's name, and the Legacy Eric Garner Left Behind is pretty much the movement, and we're showing how we can turn this tragedy into community building, which is our own form of justice, and it's just going to branch out on different levels. As I stated, this is our second year, and if the fundraiser does well, we're actually going to do it in Pennsylvania this summer as well, in Brooklyn. As much as we can do, we'll definitely get it done.
Grassroots organizing, community organizing. Jewel Miller, let's say in the last 30 seconds, you had Donald Trump, the orange-haired dictator himself, in this room. What would you have to say to him?
Oh, shit. Off with your head. Like, Trump.
To his message about the police and about telling police to treat people more roughly, what would you say to that?
America was never great.
Right. Oh, shit, I wish I had my hat.